Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Draco Does Cooking. In today's episode,
Wait, Dad. I thought you were supposed to do a blender tutorial.
I'm going to do a blender tutorial. I'm going to show them how to make this pizza in this blender.
No. The one with the wizard study.
That's right. I was going to do the wizard study today. So, let's get started. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Wizard Study. In today's episode, we're going to be drawing a bookcase. This bookcase or bookshelf will be one design for the whole upstairs around the catwalk. On 4 of the walls, we'll have 3 of them, and on the other 4 walls, we'll have 2 with a stained glass window and a little study area in the middle. So, without any hesitation, let's get started. So we're going to start off with the default cube today, and so let's just get to it. Tab in. We're going to keep everything selected, go GZ1. I'm going to go to the front view and pan down, so I see which way you want to go. Then we're going to go GY -1. I want this origin point right in the center here. Now this bookcase is going to be 4.25 meters tall. So I'm going to change the Z to 4.25. And it's only going to be minus 0.61 meters thick, which is roughly around 24 inches. We're gonna cut this in half and do a mirror modifier, and hit Alt, select that, hit delete faces, get rid of this face as well. And then what I want is I want this board on the side to go all the way to the almost the very top. At the very top, I want that board to go all the way across. So we'll start up here. All right, this board is going to be 3/4 of an inch thick. So if this is 4.25, I want a minus 0.019. That's 3/4 of an inch-ish. I'm going to do another loop cut over here. So this outside wall is at 1 meter. So what I'm going to do is move this over. So that's in the X direction. So I'm going to do a -1. That's how far over it is. I'm going to add 0.019. And there I have that 3/4 inch board. Now up here, I need to modify this a little bit. I am going to take this edge out because this top board goes all the way around. We're going to also have a board down the center. So let's put that loop cut in. So this loop cut here is going to be in the negative 0.0095 direction. That's half of a board. So when we mirror it, we're going to get the other half, and then we'll take away the center line. Okay, so I want a cabinet down here, so, and that's going to be at 20 inches off the floor. So I can just type in 20 inches. So there it is. And then I need a shelf up here, or the pocket for the shelves up here. We're going to take this face and we're going to extrude it in this direction, 0.58 negative. I'm going to apply the material to this, and I've already got one picked out. That material is wood flooring 065. This guy here. So we're going to upload and apply. Tab in, and we're going to start marking these. So I can pretty much say all and say mark sharp, or mark seam, not sharp, mark seam. One of the things we want to do is get rid of this loop. Actually, let's go to the whole thing. We're going to get rid of that. We'll go ahead and get rid of this here and this one here because you're not going to see those two edges. Before I unfold this, I'm going to make this bottom shelf, just the bottom one. So I'm going to grab this, go Shift D. Now what I want to do is I want to move it up, GZ 0.58. The bottom shelf is going to be the biggest shelf because that's where you put your big books, big heavy books. Alright, now I'm going to extrude this 0.019. Hit all, UV, and we're going to cube project. I found cube projection gives you a pretty decent projection. If you did an unwrap, you get, I guess it's fine. All the boards will be different. But for some reason, like these front boards that go all the way down aren't the same length as the boards they're next to. So I think that's why I like cube projection. Cube projection gives this board here the same length as the board next to it. And that board, and that board, and that board. See, they're all the same height. They might be in the same spot. We can just move them. So we can do stuff like this. I'm going to move this one over here. So I do want the grain going that way. This one here, I'm going to rotate 90. And then I'm going to also move it up. And this one here, I'm going to rotate 90 and move it. I hit the hide button. I'll rotate 90 and I'm going to move it down. These outside boards I want vertical like that one is, but this one's not. So I'm going to rotate 90. I gotta select it. Rotate 90. And what else we got? The back is fine. Top is not going to matter. We're going to get rid of that later. We're putting a topper on this. That one's fine. This one is not fine. I'm going to pick that one and this one. That one is shorter because of this line here that we don't need. Ooh, what did that do? I don't know. That was weird. So we're going to pick this face here and this face here. I'm going to take an all R90. It's another nice thing about Cube Project. It puts things in line. It doesn't throw this piece down here over somewhere else. Good direction, good direction. What about this one? That's in a good direction. Now I don't like the scale of the texture, by the way. Let's check this one. Horizontal. That one doesn't have any. Okay. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of it. One thing I want to make sure is when I scale it up, that I scale all of it up and that I pick a dimension that I like, a number that I like, and I like round numbers. So if I'm going to scale it up, I'm going to go like by 3. That way, if I ever need to redo one of these, I know how much to scale it up. So everything is looking good. Actually, this grain here is going the wrong way. I'm going to rotate that 90. And I say it's going the wrong way because this board's grain wouldn't turn 90 degrees when you cut it. It would be in the same direction. Alright, looking good. Now this bottom shelf here, when we want to select the shelf, we select the edge to get everything that's linked. I'm going to right mouse click, separate by selection, tab out, add a modifier that is a array. Now, I've only used this a couple times now, but I think I figured it out. When I did the stairs, I didn't know what I was doing. Played around with it a couple times since. So basically, I want a fixed count is how many I want. Not sure the exact number of shelves we're going to have. I don't want relative offset. I want because relative would be like how many of them and they're all touching. I want constant offset. And this one you do by distance, so 0.35 meters. And in the Z direction gives me a, look at that, there's a top shelf. We're going to drop that down to 9. So I'm going to go ahead and apply that bookshelf shelf modifier. And then I'm going to tab into it, do an A, and over here I want to change these surfaces so they don't look all the same. So I remember this is already scaled to what it was before. I'm going to come over here and go L, G, click off L, G, L, L, G. Because I click off L, it doesn't deselect. L will shift. Let's do both tops and bottoms. Ready, boys? Well, I had 9 because I keep small 30 times. I'm just going to say Alright, there we have it. All of them are mixed up. When we go and mirror this bookcase, we're going to have to change a lot of the textures. Just move them around or join them up together. So I'm going to select the shelves, select the bookcase, and I'm going to do a Control J to merge them together. Now I want to do a top portion on this. And to do that, I'm going to come in here and steal this top board. Just going to separate it. I'm not going to copy it. Tab back out. We're going to hide the bottom. We're going to tab back into this top, and we're going to go to vertices, pick this corner, and then what we want to do is Shift S, cursor to selected, tab out, make sure you have this selected, object, set origin to 3D cursor. And I'll show you why I wanted to do that. So I'm going to tab back in. I'm going to do a Shift A, circle. Before you click on anything else, come down here. We want like 136. And I want this to be a 2 meter radius. Now we can click off of it. L to select it. We're going to G, X, move it this way, 2 meters. So I want that tangency on that vertex. Then we're going to rotate X 90 and get that. And then we're going to scale it in the Z only. And right now that's two full meters up. It's way up there. So we want this arch to be down low. And I've calculated this. I want it to be about a meter tall. That's where my arc swings. So we're going to do the scale 0.25. That means the half meter is way over here, not over here. Okay, so see the blue line here? I want a vertice on that blue line. So I am going to subdivide this, go back to vertices, pick the vertice, and when you grab, you can move it. If you hit G again, you stay on the line, so it doesn't actually change shape for straight lines. So I'm going to eyeball right to that blue line, to there, but then I'm going to actually put it, see how close I was? I'm going to actually put it right on that line. Then I'm going to grab that segment and this segment, and we're going to delete them. Grab that and delete that. And this is what we have. Now I'm going to actually pick these 2 points by holding shift, and I'm going to fill between them. And then I am going to get rid of this face. Don't need that face. Okay. Now, the reason I made this line here is so I can select all that and fill it in. Alright. So, okay, so we're gonna extrude this forward to the front of the bookcase. So we have to tab back into it, face select it, E to extrude, and we know that's 0.61 meters. Now that positive went away, so we need to make it come negative, so I just hit the negative sign and pulls it over. But what you gotta be aware of is that makes this inside out, and to show that, if you go face orientation, it's red, and we don't want red. So I'm gonna do L to select it all, F3, we're going to go flip, and I could have used Alt N to flip normals, but I'm going to use the search. And then there we go. This red here is the inside of this face, so we don't have to worry about that. So now we have that. So one of the things we want to do is we want to come over here, we want to delete this face, because we're not going to have a face inside this, and we're going to mirror it. And this face, we don't need that face. So it's a solid box up here. But now what we want to do is grab this face and do I to inset. Now I don't want the side line. I do want this bottom line, but you can't have one without the other. So I'm gonna hit Control B, and I'm gonna come in this way for 0.05. I mean, I could add the 0, so if you 0.050 would be 50. 0.05. Alright. Now, what we want to do is we want a line across here. And I'm not too worried about being 50. I'm just going to come to this point here. We're going to come up here and look at the Z dimension. We're not going to click on it. We're just going to Control C over that Z dimension. And that actually copied that number. Yes, you can click on it and highlight everything and do Control C as well, but just hovering over it, Control C is much easier. The reason I did that was because I'm going to subdivide this line here. And then I'm going to grab this point here, come up to the Z, and paste it. Now this point and this point are at the same height. So I'm going to select both these points and hit J. Now I have a board across here. I wonder if it would have been better to do this upper one. Let's do the upper one here. So that's easy to do. So I go here, Control C again. On this one, Control V again. Select them both. J. Connects them. Oh, that looked closer. Alright, now our next move is to take this and recess it in, so it's kind of like a decorative little carved out piece. And we want to go in about, I'm thinking a ½ inch, which is 12 millimeters, so we're going to go 0.012 and then negative. And then this little face here, we don't want that. Because when we mirror it, we want this pocket to keep going. Alright, I think we're ready for the mirror modifier. So now, we're going to get rid of this face orientation. Okay, before we do a mirror modifier to this, we're going to join it to the base. So let's select both. We're going to do Control J, join. And what we're going to do now is we're going to add a modifier that's a mirror modifier. Like that. That's what our bookcase is going to look like, except for this top is going to have some texture to it. I'm going to go ahead and apply that mirror modifier. So we're all good. So these are all their own little entities. And a couple of them we need to do more seams. So I'm going to hold Alt, click this edge, mark seam, click that one and this one down here, mark seam. We're going to pick this face and this face and go back to edge, unselect that edge and mark seam. So now we have all the seams selected. There's two more here that we need. Need that one. And this one over here. I need to locate my focus point. What I mean by that is, see how it's kind of slow to zoom in and out? If you hit your delete key on your numpad, it centers it, and the zoom it works much better. You'll find that when you zoom in, and also you can't keep zooming in, hit that delete key when you've selected something in your view, and it will highlight it, and you can zoom in and out faster again, and closer. It's really cool. That used to tick me off so bad. Okay, so one of the things I want to do is I want to grab these edges here and dissolve them. No need for them. Alright, go ahead and mark this top one here. We're going to try this again. So L and L, and we're going to do a UV cube projection. Yeah, I'm not too sure. I think that's what I was thinking. It was these ones down here. So that's not good. So I want to take these ones here, and they shouldn't have been separate. They should have stayed because they're all in the same, what you call that? They're all in the same sheet, in the seam, marked in the seams. So I'm going to take both of those. I'm going to rotate that AR90. Come back up here. I'm going to move those approximately to there. Let's see. And it looks like either I'm upside down. Yeah, I was upside down. I rotated the wrong direction with those. So let's do this from here to here. Let's move this over here. This is probably the right way. And it's not. R180. I think it's on the wrong side. Yep, it was on the wrong side. And upside down. I'm going to select all these and move them in. I don't want them on that line because it creates a line with this texture, not with all the textures. Okay, let's hit L on this. UV cube projection. That's good. That's actually where I would have put it. Select this UV cube projection. Same with that. Let's go up here. Select that whole loop all the way around. There should be two things here because I got the top one. They break in the corner. So we're going to do a UV cube projection. Not too sure what those two are, but it's probably fine the way it is. Yeah. Now this surface here actually is, oh yeah, because we did that this time. But down here, you see this little shape? It's over here. It's mirrored. So I don't want that. So I'm going to pick both of these and do a UV cube projection. Now these are bigger than they're supposed to be. See how it's wide and before just one side was? Because remember we scaled it up. So let's do a UV cube projection again. Now what I want to do is I want to grab all these other areas that we just did, and I want to do an A and scale that up, and I think we went up by 3. Gotta make sure we get the same scale. I'm not too worried about, actually let's do it. I was gonna be not worried about it, but let's grab that AS3. Okay, so let's come down here. Let's get rid of this middle line here. Should we get rid of that? Yeah, let's go from here all the way down to here. Dissolve edge. Okay, so now let's grab this middle curve here. We're going to do a UV cube projection. And look how short that is. I'm going to rotate that one 90, and then we're going to scale it up by 3. Now, I don't really bother me that this one's backward from this one over here. But what will bother me is the fact that this dark line goes here and then it goes this way. So, we're going to do L's on all these. And we're just going to grab all of those and just move them like here. And they should all be different. I could have rotated them 180. That could have made it different. But that works. Okay. So this is thy bookshelf. Now we're going to do the doors down here. So I'm going to tab in. I'm going to come in and grab... We're going to do a loop cut down here. This. And we want that loop cut at 4 inches. Alright. This doesn't have to be cut over here on this side. It's just so I can measure the doors. So I can do a Shift D, drop it, right mouse click, separate by selection. Then I'm going to tab out. I'm going to hide that, tab back in, and I'm going to get rid of that we just put there. Okay. Now we're going to tab back out. We're going to do an Alt H. We're going to select the main cabinet, hide that. Come into here, go to front view. I'm going to tab in. I'm going to mark this bottom as a seam. We're going to put a seam up the middle. We are going to take this seam and we're going to G X over 0.00325. Just want to move it over just a little bit. That's like an 1/8 inch. So I'm going to mark that as a seam. And then I'm going to delete this side. Now, why did I do that? One cabinet door can be the same all the way across. So I'm going to grab this and go E.019. Alright, since it came towards me the way that we wanted it to, it should be blue, so we don't have to worry about that. Now I'm going to do an A to select everything, and I'm going to mark seams all over it. Yeah, of course, yeah, mark seam. Because everything's a seam. We can go in here and undo these so it wraps around, but this grain is going to go this way and this grain is going to go this way, like this way. This one goes this way, this one goes this way. So we don't want to undo those. Now we can make a decorative door. So we're going to do it on that top edge there. We're going to actually probably undo some of these mark seams. Let's undo this one. I'm going to clear the seam on that one, because I am going to come in with a Control B and bevel these edges. Just a little bit, roll it, roll it, roll it. You know, let's leave it a chamfer. Let's do it about that size. I've been doing a rolled one, and it's been looking pretty bad. All my attempts to do this tutorial. We're going to grab these corners, we're going to mark these seams. I'm going to grab this and mark this seam. Of course I got to switch over the edge loop to do that. Alright. Now let's grab this one, do an inset. Let's come to about here. And since I came from a seam and I go in, I get a seam. It's kind of nice to do that. So now I'm going to extrude this in this way. So it's going to be a negative 0.003. Now I want to shrink it down to about there, inset it again to about there, then extrude it back out 0.006. I want to come out a little farther than the rest of this. And then I'm going to shrink that down to about there. And then I'm going to inset it again about here, and then leave it like that. Now, this inside one, I don't need. And let's see, we want to do this on all these. Now the question is, do we want this top piece to be a board this direction, this to be a board this direction, and this be a board this direction? So if we want to do that, we need to come in here, take all these seams in these directions, it might be easier if we just do this. We're going to clear all the seams, and then we're going to put them back in. So there's that one, and there's this one, and then there's that one there, here, here, and here. There's also this one here. Goes all the way around. And we're going to mark seam. Then what I want to do is do an A, UV, Q project. Okay, so now I'm going to do an L. Oops, I got to be in face select. L. And I'm going to come over here. G, Z, up here. Where's this face at? That must be this top one. Yeah, they can stay right where it's at. That's good. We're going to do an L over here. And we're going to take these and we're going to go G. We're going to move them here and then we're going to rotate 90. And then we're going to come down here and do an L. And we're going to take those and go G. Move them down here. Just want them away from each other. And then this one here is going to be rotated 90. And then we're going to move it over here. Now, not too worried about the back. And this front is pretty good. So let's take all of these, make sure we have everything selected. We're going to S3, so it's the same scale as the rest of the cabinet. And I think I like that. I like how this makes that shape. This is the wrong way. Thought I rotated that. R90. R90? Maybe they weren't selected, maybe. There we go. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Because this is a joint, it comes up to here, and this is a joint. We're going to grab this face here and extrude it in just a smidget, so we get that edge. Not going to worry about the texture on there. Alright. That's Alt H. There's our cabinet door. We're going to go Shift D in the X direction. We're going to flop it down. We're going to look to see if we have a gap. We kind of wanted a little bit of a gap. Those doors never touch. And then we're going to grab it again, and then we're going to go Shift D in the X. And this one here, so this one here, we want to pull it up to this line. G, X. Right up to that line. Then we're going to grab these two. G, X, and move it to this line. And then we're going to grab all of these, and we're going to select this guy and do a Control J. And there it is. It's all one thing. Now, these patterns are all the same. So I'm going to tab in, do an A. I'm sorry. I was going to do an L. Let's do an L here. And I'm going to do an R. 180. And then I'm going to G. Move it a little bit. Alright guys, I think that's going to be it for this episode. In a later episode, we'll do a engraving up here. Some kind of pictures. Maybe one on each door. Magic symbols or something. I'm going to do an episode later on in this series that is about engravings. Those are pretty neat. This model will be available for download in the dracosocard.com website. The description is below. On the website, you just go down to assets, click on it, go into Draco's assets, and then you'll have all the assets that I make up to that point. So this is just episode 4, so there's only the lamp that's in there right now. So I'm going to render this out and let you guys see what it looks like in this scene. So until next week, stay creative.